Hi, Gabby.
Hi, Ashley.
How are you today?
I'm okay.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, things are going as is with the divorce, I guess. So
No,
as okay as you can be with that.
I know, absolutely. Like we spoke about the last time. So, I like to usually do because sometimes we talk about some heavy stuff so we can get a little anxious and have some anxiety. So, I want to do our mental health check in.
Okay.
Just kind of give me on a 1 to scale where you're at kind of today with your anxiety.
My anxiety, like a 4.
Like a 4? Okay.
Yeah, 5 being the worst?
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
4.
so we're a little high on the scale today. So what I'm just going to have us do is we're just going to do some deep breathing, just kind of regulate ourselves so we can just kind of move along, have a nice flowing session and stuff like that. So if that sound good to you?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to have you sit nice and straight in your chair, palms to the tops of your knees, and then I'm just going to have you just kind of feel your hands on your jeans a little bit, and then just take some nice deep breaths. We'll go to 5. So 1, and 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just kind of relax ourselves a little bit, feel a little bit better, so we can get into the session and everything like that, so it's nice to unwind. I do that too before my session. It's just a little fun fact
Yeah,
for you.
sometimes we need it.
Yeah, we do. So just, how are you feeling today? What's your current state looking like at this point?
I just feel like, I don't know, I'm just not ready for it to be over. And I know that, we're going into the divorce. And I know that he wronged me, but I just feel like I'm still not ready for it to be over. Like, it's like I'm holding on to a lot of things that I can't seem to let go of.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a very difficult thing that you're experiencing right now.
And I know last week we talked a lot about, like, letting go of those, like, shoulds and shouldn'ts and things like that. I gave it my all, but I don't know. I just keep feeling like I'm failing for not trying harder.
But that's where we have to shift our perspective a little bit, because is it really failing? Because from what you've shared with me, it shows that you've been pretty consistent with your efforts in trying to mend the ways in your relationship. You're not at fault. You're taking the initiative to do better for yourself. To give Gabby the things that she needs. You know what I mean?
I know, and I know that I'm important too, but it just feels like, I don't know, like there should be more I should be doing. But again, like we talked about, shoulds are things that people put on us, not the things we put on ourselves.
Exactly. And look at how much effort that you've put into this.
Yeah.
You expressed to me that you felt for about 2 years now. You guys were starting to, kind of felt that shift in your relationship and stuff like that. And you've done the couples counseling, you've done the individual counseling, you have been doing a lot of self-care, working on internal things that you felt have been contributing factors to your relationship.
Yeah.
So, you have to find yourself at that point is, when is enough enough?
Yeah. And it's just tough too, because like I see him out with other women already, and it's like I keep reminding myself, like I get so frustrated, so I just have to let it go. Like we were done. For me, it's been done for a long time, so I don't know why I'm holding on to it.
Yeah. What about your emotions? What are some of the emotions that you've been experiencing this week?
Sadness, guilt over feeling like I haven't done enough.
Yep.
Anger. I'm angry. Angry that it didn't work. Angry that I feel like he should have put in as much effort as me. Angry that, I don't know, the world seems unfair right now.
All very valid things to be feeling right now.
Yeah, jealousy when I see him out with other people, even though it's not like, as we know, I haven't been putting myself out there, but it's different when you see the other person doing it, so.
Of course. What are some of the things that you've been working on to, for some self-care to increase your moods?
I have been trying to put more effort into, like, my appearance, so, got a new job. Been trying to make sure that, like, I do my hair, that, like, I put on a little bit of makeup so I don't look like I just rolled out of bed.
Anything just to make you feel better.
Yeah.
Is it working? Do you feel like it's working?
It works at first. Like, when I leave the house, I'm like, oh, I look good, I feel fine. And then as the day goes on and you forget that, you're not looking in the mirror all day long feeling good about yourself. So
of course.
Then you start to think about other things. And, I try to go home and read, and those for me more feel like time passers than self-care.
Yeah. But just remember, though, with everything, consistency is key. We don't eat healthy for 2 days and then get on the scale and we've lost 15 pounds, right?
Don't we wish?
Yeah, that would be let's write that down on our wish list. But yes, we do wish that, of course. But the fact of the matter is that with consistency, that's what gives us our desired results. So we know that it's going to be difficult, and we just kind of got to push ourselves, through the motions and just keep practicing these things. So then it becomes a habit, and then you start instilling those feelings, within yourself, and that's when
what I'm trying.
Yeah, and that's when the mood changes. But that's all that you can do right now, Gabby, is try. You've tried for so many years to put so much of yourself into other people. Now it's time for Gabby to put so much of herself back into her.
Yeah, you're right. And I know
you've been pouring from an empty glass
for a
very long time.
Yeah.
And like we talked about, you can't pour from an empty glass. You're not. How are you staying hydrated? How are you staying healthy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now that's what you're doing. You're trying to fill that glass up again.
It's tough.
With the self-care, with the therapy, hanging out with the girls, having the lunch dates and the casual drinks, as long as we're being, safe and responsible, of course. Of course, we always have to touch that. But, those are things. What about, who are some people that you're around that, heighten your mood, that are really making you feel good?
Lately, well, all my Tinder dates, they make me feel good. Obviously, being safe. We keep it at dinner. I like free dinner and drinks.
Casual dating is wonderful.
So that makes me feel good. I have been trying to spend more time with my nieces and, family. My girlfriends are busy. They live far. So it doesn't bother me that we don't see each other. And, let's be honest, there's a lot of drama, and I don't need that negativity right now. So
that's true. Look at you being aware, Like, that's not the type of energy that you need in your life right now.
Not right now. They're all, hoity-toity. They know everything about relationships.
Yeah.
And so they're not too empathetic about the divorce. So I just kind of steer clear for now. When I'm in a better headspace, I'll address it.
And I think that's a good idea for you, too, because you don't really need anyone pouring any more negativity into this bucket that you're trying to take the negativity out right now. So I think that's a really good decision. But, you know how important it is to surround yourself with people that are going to make you feel better. Your supportive networks.
Yeah.
I think that more often than not, sometimes we don't engage in our supportive networks as much as we should. When people say, reach out if you need me, how much do we actually reach out? When we do feel like we're at that point. But, understanding that you're not a burden to other people, people are there to help support that weight, because our problems get heavy sometimes, sometimes it's bone crushing,
it feels like a lot sometimes.
Yeah, it is a lot, and you're experiencing so much, and you're doing so wonderful, so you still have your kids that you're raising, you're still working, you're still in school.
And thankfully the kids are old enough where they don't see it as an issue. They're kind of like, sweet, I get 2 birthdays and 2 Christmases, 2 bedrooms. They're kind of thrilled about it. I mean, they were upset at first, but I think nowadays it's so common to have divorced parents that they're like, hey, whatever, everybody at school says it's awesome. So
it's not as taboo as it, usually. But that must be, helpful for you, though.
It is, because I don't carry that guilt. Yeah,
not carrying
that was something I was
good.
Worried about, that the kids were going to be upset and, hold resentment against either one of us, and thankfully they don't, so.
Yeah. And are they still communicating openly with your ex-husband and everything? Is their relationship
Yeah,
still
they're
going
over there every weekend. He has offered to take them in the summers, and because the kids are, 12 and 13, I said we gotta let them make that decision. Obviously, he can still go weekends, but I don't want them to miss out on their summer with their friends.
Yeah.
He lives a couple towns away, and I know he works a lot, so I don't want them to, feel like they're home alone, or that they can't see their friends. So as of right now, they seem gung-ho about it, and I'm excited to have summer to myself.
I was going to say, summer to yourself. What are some things that you can plan for yourself that you can do? You're finding Gabby again.
I would go to the beach or something. I would think, maybe with my mom. I know it's lame to be this old and hanging out with your mom
Totally
still.
Not. We're engaging in supportive networks that make us feel good. If mom is that outlet.
Well, she makes the best tuna fish sandwich for the beach that I've ever had, so nobody better
Doritos?
to go with.
Do you eat Doritos with your tuna fish
Yes, we do tuna with pickles, potato bread. We bring our Doritos and Funyuns.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gabby.
You're welcome.
That's awesome, though. And, every other weekend, too. And you're still young,
Yeah, which is nice. It's nice to have the weekends off to do things. Not that I have many friends to do things with, but I just kind of clean the house, and it's nice to sit in the quiet of the clean house for a little bit. Sometimes I feel like I should be doing more social things and find a hobby, but one step at a time. It's still new.
It's one step at a time, and it doesn't have to look like, sometimes we see these depictions in movies and stuff like that of a previously divorced woman, and she's out every weekend and she's doing all these fun and fancy things. That's not what it has to look like for you. If you're perfectly content with being home, cleaning your house, watching a movie, having some wine by yourself. You know, that's what your healing looks like, and that's okay, as long as you're content and you're happy with it.
Yeah, that's very true.
You're finding Gabby again. For so many years, you were a wife, and you are still a mother, of course, but that was your identity. And now you kind of have this room to figure out who you are now. You know, you're basically reinventing yourself.
Yeah, and it's scary, but I know that I'll get there eventually.
It's scary, but also invigorating in the same sense, right? And exciting. Just thinking about the fact that you have that opportunity to do new things, go new places, have more fun, do all those things. Hold on one second, Gabby, I apologize. I just need to check our timer for us. You know, so I think that it's wonderful that you are engaging in these things and you are doing what you need to be doing right now.
I'm excited, as scary as it is, and I'm grateful, but we'll see. As time goes on, I'm sure it'll get easier, and I'm sure I'll find hobbies, and that's my biggest thing right now. Is my hobby is reading, and that's a very lonely hobby, and it's more of a time-passing hobby than a self-care. So it's great. I've read like 15 books in the last 3 months. So
what are some of the things that you're doing that make you feel like, wow, you know, like I feel so good? Is getting your nails done, your hair, nature walks?
I'm not a big fan of the outdoors.
That's okay.
Things that I guess make me feel good when I do it is being social, I guess. So it doesn't really matter what I'm doing as long as I'm being social. The social aspect does come with a bit of anxiety, but once I kind of power through, then I do enjoy it, but it's a matter of getting past the anxiety to get me out of the house.
Which is great, though, because it shows that you have the ability to cope through things, that you can manage them effectively and push through and move to that next level, so you can expose yourself to these new experiences.
Yeah.
So it's great that you don't allow your anxiety to hold you back.
Thank you. It's definitely not easy, but, not. Many years of work and you get there, right?
It is not easy to power through those things. We've allowed these, our anxiety or, our social anxiety, whatever the case may be, these are our walls that we build up, and, chipping away at those and breaking them down, it's a long and lengthy process, and it's difficult, We build them up so quickly, but it would take a while to break them back down all over again. But,
absolutely.
You're doing that, and you're getting yourself out there, and, just even allowing yourself to be in these vulnerable places where you are, open to dating and stuff like that. It shows that, you are willing,
And that does make me feel good, is the dating. I mean, to get past that anxiety, I just tell myself, I'm a single mom now, so I can't pay for my own dinner. Might as well let somebody buy it for me.
It's a great way to think about it, right?
Yeah.
And free food, and if it is good company.
Yeah, and it's not always, but the food's usually good, so...
And it's an ego booster as well.
Yeah, I definitely leave and go home, and I'm like, I'm not shit. I've been on, 2 dates this week, so it does make you feel good. I don't know why people want to keep going on dates with me, but at least they are.
But that shows that you're a very likable person, and people are obviously enjoying your company, that you're continuously getting these dates.
Thank you.
And you're obviously enjoying something out of it as well, too, It's a good ego boost, and just getting out there and enjoying new surroundings and people and stuff like that. It also shows, too, that you're open to, maybe along the lines of a possible relationship, a love.
Yeah. It's going to be far from now. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe it'll surprise me. But I'm just kind of right now enjoying the free sushi and margaritas.
Sushi and margaritas. Gabby,
dangerous combo.
We have a lot in common on the food. Have you had that conversation with your ex about how you're feeling right now about the divorce and your current state, your current emotions?
No, we haven't really talked about it. When we stopped with the family couples counseling, we kind of just let it be what it is. I think we shared what we needed to in that, and he knows how I feel, but, like Dr. Phil always says, perception is reality, so... Even though I feel like he wasn't trying, he feels like he was, and that's enough to help him sleep at night. So I feel like at this point we would just be, I don't know, repeating the same issue, beating a dead horse. That's what the saying is, I think. And
yeah, it is. But just remember, everyone's capabilities is like an elastic band. He's maybe never really had to stretch his, so maybe in his perception, he feels like he has extended himself as far as he can.
And that's what I mean. Like, there's no point in going in and telling him, I'm jealous you're out with these other people, because then I'm a hypocrite. So I'm doing the same thing. Or telling him, I'm feeling guilt, like we didn't try enough, because it's not like he hasn't heard it before. It's not like he's going to try anymore by saying it. So now I feel like we're on to the next best thing, which is just how do we co-parent, and as of right now, it's going okay because we just keep it pretty amicable. Like we try, especially not me. I don't know how it's going for him. I mean, it's going well so far, but when I message him, I'm not like, listen, I need a fucking break from this kid. You take him. Or I'm a mom 5 days a week. You're a dad on the weekends. That's how I feel. But I just am like, hey, it's your weekend for the kids. Do you mind taking them? And he's like, yep. And we leave it very simple like that, which sucks that we're not talking, but hopefully throughout time that'll get better.
But in time, you guys are still in that transitional phase.
Yeah.
This is a major adjustment for the both of you. It's very new. It's new territory. And when you're so accustomed, so conditioned to behaving a certain way towards each other, because you guys have always been husband and wife, so you know that comes with a certain specific set of behaviors that you're so accustomed to that when you remove that element, you're kind of like, I don't know how to act towards you.
Yeah, you want to like hug and kiss when you see each other. Exactly. And you get off the phone, you want to be like, okay, love you, bye.
You have to fight the urge to be what you've always been.
Yeah,
you know?
Which then comes into question how much of it was, because we meant it, and how much of it was just because it was habit.
Yeah, and I think that that's a valid question that a lot of people think of, because especially, with longevity comes habits, comes comfort, comes routine.
Yeah.
So you start wondering what was done because this is just what we do every day, or what was done because, we really feel like that's how we felt about that person.
Yeah.
But at this point, to dwell on things like that is almost neither here nor there, because what benefits,
that's true.
Having the conversation is absolutely okay, but you just have to consider what benefits would come from
that's
dwelling
one I
on the
wouldn't.
situation.
That's one I wouldn't talk to him about for sure. But it is one that I think about, like when we get off the phone.
Of course.
Especially for myself, not so much for him, because I don't know if he's struggling with it, but it's me that's like, I want to blurt it out, and then I'm like, man, how many years have I been just saying it because it was habit, and who knows if I meant it.
Exactly.
So then you live with that guilt too, like maybe this could have happened a lot sooner, maybe I was keeping him from something, keeping myself from something, but I don't know, there's all the factors, there's just a lot, so
there is a lot.
It's gonna be, I keep telling myself it's rough, it's gonna be rough, and I wish therapy was like a pill, and the more that you take it, the better you get, but sometimes that's not always the case, so.
Sometimes that is, sometimes these things are a lengthy process, because internal healing is difficult, and we have to learn how to heal ourselves internally so we don't bleed on other people, and just like anything, whether it's a surgery or not, it takes time for these things, and we have to learn how to nurture ourselves the way that's going to heal us best, and just getting to that point, you can figure out how your way of healing should be. It's a long process, and then once you get there, now you have to start healing, and that's another long process, so I think that acceptance and just understanding that this is in fact a lengthy process, and it's going to be a lot of up and downs, you could have 2 great weeks, and then you could have 1 really off week, but like I always say, sometimes we're going to suffer through the days, because that is just realistic, and then some days we're going to stride through them, but both days you've survived.
And we have to be aware that both days are going to happen.
Exactly, because no matter what, regardless, it's inevitable for those things, because not all days are good, not all days are bad, they're both, but the best part about understanding feelings is knowing that they're not permanent. You can be happy at 7:06 and at 7:07 decide that you're going to be miserable, or vice versa, so you can always exchange one feeling for the next.
You're right.
And you're very, very aware, Gabby, which I think is always going to work in your favor, is you acknowledge your feelings, and you consider how those feelings can affect your thoughts and your behaviors and stuff like that. So I feel like you're already headed in the right direction. Understanding those things and having a good grasp on those, I just feel like gives you a leg up in this situation.
I'm hopeful. I hope that that's the case, because I want to make sure that I give the kids everything they need, and myself everything that I need, and whoever comes into my life after that, everything that they need as well.
I think that acknowledging how well your children have adjusted to this divorce speaks volumes.
Yeah, I hope so, because people keep telling me, like, oh, it's the generation and things like that, but I think that if, we hadn't raised them the way that we did, and we weren't doing the things we're doing now, it probably wouldn't be going as smooth as it is, so, like, I keep telling them, like, don't knock me down a notch.
From a professional standpoint, I assure you there could have been an alternative course to this.
I agree, and I keep telling them, like, don't knock me down. Like, yeah, it is weird, but, everyone's like, well, that's a generation now. I'm like, well, you know what? when you get divorced from your husband, I'll remind you that it's the generation.
Yeah. Well, I know that we're always discussing, holding on to things and letting go of things. And I also know that you have an artistic side and you do love art.
I do.
So, and I happen to love art therapy, which I know that we've discussed previously. So I printed out something. It's called What Are We Holding On To and What Are We Letting Go Of? It seems almost a little bit childish because we do have to trace our hands, but I assure you.
We're not making hand turkeys.
We're not making, if that worked for you, we would.
Today I'm thankful for.
If that worked for you, I would not knock that, Gabby. I would allow you to make a hand turkey. So this is mine, and like I said, this is why I am a therapist, because I'm not an artist. So we're not going to judge me.
No, that's not bad.
So just a brief example of how we'll be doing this activity. So on this, it would be what we're holding on to and what we're letting go of.
Okay.
And I'm sure in regards to the divorce, you can see the things that you would like to hold on to.
Okay.
And then what are you letting go of? So take your time, be as creative as possible.
Okay, can we keep yours there for ideas?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Here's all of our good stuff for you.
X-nay these markers right away.
And I am just going to jot down some notes and do some things if you don't mind. And I'm just going to observe your artistic abilities and be in awe the complete time, the whole time.
I can't tell you that it's gonna look too good, but you have a lot of faith in me.
I do have a lot of faith in you. I am here.
This is definitely not one you could do with a teenage boy and their massive hands.
No, we would have to probably put it on huge paper. Get a poster board from Walgreens for 89 cents just for those hands.
Because my hands are fat. Look at my fingers, are so fat.
That was a perfect, actually. Gabby, let's just look at. Well, I don't know what happened here. There's a lot of.
Like my chubby hands. Ooh, I wish I could let those go in the divorce. I got it.
Then you meet the lawyers and ask if that's something that can be taken.
Can you take those with him? He can leave me the fast metabolism and the dog, and he can take the kids and my hands.
We have wish lists, We can't put those things on there.
We're going to add it all to the wish fairy when she comes to grant my wish of dieting for 2 days and losing 15 pounds.
Wow, what a world that would be, huh?
A dream world.
Yes, that absolutely would be.
I like to think that, at the end of the day, even if I lost the weight, it wouldn't fix my problems. So, if we're being honest.
If we're being frank here. Hey, honesty is a great thing. When you're honest, you're aware, and you're accountable, right?
Yes. It is hard to trace your other hand. Okay, so
does
it matter which one I want to let go of and which one I want to keep?
Whichever.
Okay, because I think I want to do my let go of first. I'm just going to take everything out because I'm a visual person.
Okay. And give us more space.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
I would like to let go of.
I'm going to join in, but not on the hand.
Okay. I'm going to let go of anger. And we'll add in my details after.
Anger towards yourself, towards him?
Towards everything. I think sometimes I get, I'm already messing up, spelling things wrong. I get angry at myself, I get angry at the kids, I get angry at him over just little things. I have short patience, so I guess that's something I can also write, but I also put down jealousy. I'm going to get rid of jealousy. I want to get rid of my short patience. I want to get rid of, let's see,
and this doesn't even necessarily have to be tied to the divorce. It can be
anything.
It can be anything.
So, anger, jealous, short patience. I want to get rid of, can I just write in general, bad habits?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can look at it like this, not just holding on to, but reaching for as well.
For when, reaching for in a good way, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm I don't think I should be reaching for any more bad habits. I have enough of those. I want to get rid of my... Can I write depression? I know you can't get rid of it, but can I be hopeful that way?
Of course you can.
Okay, I want to get rid of my depression.
You can be as brief or in-depth as you'd like. This is yours.
I would like to get rid of... We're going to use this pretty teal color. Anxiety. I'm not going to color this one in first. We do each finger a different color, I think. Although, I don't know, I like yours. And I want to copy it because
purple and blue. I've
always
always enjoyed purple and blue together.
I like those colors together too, I think. I like purple with a lot of colors.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
My favorite color is...
This is actually my favorite color. Just fun fact about
really?
me. Turquoise,
my favorite
yes.
color is burgundy. I don't think I have a burgundy thing right here, but...
burgundy is a great fall color.
Yes, and I want to wear it every day for the rest of my life. My best friend's getting married, and I would like to let go of my jealousy and my anger towards her for choosing burgundy as her wedding color.
That is... I would think that letting go of that would make the ceremony and the reception more enjoyable.
And I'm not, like, super angry at her, but because it's not like I don't think I've ever really expressed to her that that's the color I want. I may have, but a couple of years ago she went through the same thing. So she originally wanted navy and yellow as her wedding colors, and she had somebody in her life who picked those as their wedding colors before she had her wedding, and she was all like up in arms about it, and I told her that she kind of should let that anger go because two people can have the same colors and do two completely different things.
And now you are taking your own advice.
Yeah, but let me tell you, it's not easy.
It is not easy.
Because I want to, like, part of me wants to remind her, because, you know, my first wedding, obviously, I didn't have those colors, but now that we're divorced, and, you know, we joke about the next wedding, I don't know. I don't want to have her feel like she can't do it.
It is not always easy to practice what we preach, right?
Yeah. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Are you in the wedding?
I believe so. My best friend, I don't know, she's been going back and forth the first time that she was going to get married. So she's been with the same guy, but it's been off and on with the if they're going to have a wedding, not have a wedding kind of deal. And the first time that she was planning it, I was the maid of honor, and then she was like, we're just going to do a family thing, and no friends are coming, and I was not upset because she's not my first friend to choose that. And she said, you know, like, which is, I don't know, so then I don't know what happened, and now she's having a wedding again, but I don't want to have that awkward conversation where I'm like, hey, am I in the wedding?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think I was the first person she messaged to show me the other day, like, oh, this is what we're wearing. Also, how nice of her to show me those things amidst my divorce, but again, it's fine.
Yeah. That is tough.
Yeah, so, I mean, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. She's just sharing her abilities. I'm almost done with this one.
What do we have so far on that hand?
So I put on this hand anger, and I drew, I don't know, it looks kind of sort of like fireworks, but I'm also trying to be brief because I have a whole nother hand to focus on. Jealousy, and I put chains because it's only going to hold me back.
That is a great, I liked how you tied that into that.
Thank you. Short patience, I have a little fuse going. My anxiety has a dark cloud on it. Bad habits, I don't know what we're going to put for bad habits.
What are some of the bad habits?
Biting my nails, eating too much at, you know, any time of day. So we'll start with depression. So I'm going to put a little rain cloud, because that's what it feels like. And maybe with bad habits, I just won't draw anything. I'm not feeling inspired.
It's okay, we're eliminating them anyways, so there doesn't have to be any symbol that goes with it.
I shouldn't waste too much time on the things I'm getting rid of, isn't that the point?
That is, but sometimes getting rid of things can be a lengthy process, and that's okay as well.
That's very true.
Cleaning out, when we are moving and we're cleaning out our home, right, and we're getting rid of all that extra stuff that's accrued over the years, it takes pretty long to remove it all.
Yes, it does. Like, it took a long time moving my husband out.
Feelings and stuff are pretty close to being the same type of...
It's like we're packing them all up in a box, and
we are
sending them to our ex-husband's house.
We're sending them to our memory bank, right?
I'm also going to add into here negative self-image.
That's a major one.
Yeah, because I don't want to have it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So in my good hand.
You have been working consistently towards shifting your perspective in regards to your image.
Yes.
So you can have a healthier look at yourself. Remember the mirror trick? Utilizing that.
I've been using it, but it always makes me a little bit uncomfortable.
Well, it can. New things typically make people uncomfortable.
So I'm going to add into my, what I want to gain, happiness, coping skills. I'm going to do opposites of what I want to let go of. So in lieu of depression, we'll do happiness. Bad habits, we'll gain coping skills.
That's good.
For short patience, we'll hopefully gain patience.
Patience, tolerance, all that fun stuff.
Oh yeah, I like that word. For jealousy, I want to put acceptance. For anger, I want to put excitement. I'm going to do excitement purple. I also want to gain self-care.
That is good.
Thank you. Self-love. Self-worth.
I like how there's more on the hold on to hand or reaching for.
Thanks. I think that's because I need more over here. Self-care, self-love, self-worth. We'll start with that. I'm going to do some money because I'm worth it.
No rush. You're doing wonderful.
Do you do this activity often with your clients?
Depends. I have done it with a few, and they really seem to enjoy it. It's something that can be done.
I was gonna say your ones who probably talk too much. This would be good way to shut them up.
No. I thoroughly enjoy art therapy, and a lot of my clients enjoy it as well. And you mentioned to me before in our previous sessions that you enjoy coloring and art, so I figured this would be a good little technique to just integrate into our sessions.
Yeah, this like rhythmic motion is really...
Yeah, and I mean, these are things that you can do with your children as well. I mean, there's so many different ways that you're able to do this.
Yeah, I agree with that. Acceptance. I'm gonna put a smiley face. If I had prepped, I would have come up with better answers and really gone all out for you.
I think your answers are wonderful.
Thanks. I meant like pictures, I think, for my answers.
That's okay.
They're just...
You still have time to be creative if you'd like.
Patience. I'm going to draw a rope.
Excitement. I love all the colors.
Thanks. I figured everything should have its own color. Because each one is different.
They all take different shapes and forms.
Exactly. Coping skills. Maybe a little music note. Book.
What do you feel like was your moment where you decided that it was time
To be done?
That pivotal moment.
When I didn't feel like it was worth the energy anymore. It wasn't worth the time that I was putting into it. because our entire relationship, obviously all relationships come with twists and turns, and it's not that either one of us, I think, was a bad person. Obviously we each had things we had to work on, but I just woke up one day and realized that it wasn't worth it. Like, the time that I was investing. Before, it was like, I remember crying and screaming and saying, I'll do anything to make this work. Tell me what you need. I'll never leave you. And I don't know, one day I woke up and, you know, you get those ultimatums so many times, and one day he was like, I'm just going to leave. And I remember thinking, go ahead, it would make things a lot easier.
That just shows how brave you are, though.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you think so.
And how strong you are.
Thank you.
There are many people that continuously allow themselves to remain in the same cycle, you know, for years, for many, many, many years, and they're never able to break out of that cycle.
Well, I mean, we were in it for a long time.
It's okay, though. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
But it shows how strong and how resilient and how brave you are to face something so significant, something so scary.
I wish it felt that way, you know? I feel like I mean, obviously now we're seeing each other one-on-one, but seeing each other prior to, I feel like often our therapists tell us, oh, you're doing so well, and it doesn't feel that way on the inside.
Yeah.
It feels like I understand, and I can, like, logically break it down that I'm using my coping skills and I'm doing all the right things, and it looks like progress because it is progress physically,
but internally
it doesn't feel that way.
And I think that is a very normal feeling that we have during these transitional phase, because we're in that gray area. That gray area gets very cloudy.
Yeah.
And sometimes because of how cloudy it is, we don't really know which way that we're going. But the important part is that you're still moving, right?
Yeah.
You're not standing in the same place. You're still moving. So even though it may not feel so significant, just remember that little changes lead to big results.
I hope so. I hope that's the outcome. And I know it will be, because it's not like, well, that's what I'm going to do here. Might as well stick it out, right?
Think about how many times that you decide to exercise or go on a really long walk, and, you know, towards the walk you're thinking, oh my God, I still have so long to go. This is going to take forever. And how many times you're like, I wish I would have just went back. This is so difficult. I'm exhausted. My legs hurt. And then finally you get to the end, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, so that wasn't that bad. I got through it, right?
I don't know if I ever thought that about a walk, but I get the idea of the metaphor. I get it, because other people they're like, oh man, I'm so glad I did that. And when sweat's dripping down my face, I've never once been like, I'm so glad I did that. You know what? I've heard other people say it, so it must be true.
You're just going to take the word for it.
Yeah, I'm going to take everyone's word for it. So that's my hope, that someday it feels different.
Right, so let's go over this. Share this with me.
So I tried originally and then kind of fell off on this side. But I tried to pick colors over here that, like, signify the bad things. So green is jealousy, red is anger, blue for bad habits, purple for depression, and like a blue-green for anxiety. I decided it wasn't dark enough, so I went over it with black because I want it to go away. But those are things I want to get rid of. And negative self-image, I put that at the bottom because at the end of the day, these other things, I think if I can get rid of them, then the negative self-image will follow. For my good hand, I put to gain excitement, acceptance, coping skills, happiness, self-care, self-love, self-worth. I think if we did this again in 2 months, it was going to look completely different.
Of course it will.
For happiness, I drew 3 people. That's me and my kids. That's what makes me happy. My coping skills that I want to gain. Obviously, I already know that reading is one, but maybe trying music. Patience, I put a rope instead of, the short fuse in opposition to that. Acceptance, I just put a smiley face. And excitement, I put opposite to anger, so I put little fireworky looking things again. Self-love is heart, and self-worth is money, because I can't put a price on this, even though technically I did with my dollar sign.
That is true.
But it's, you get the idea.
So you've identified, though, in order to really achieve these things, that you have to first move on from these things. So let's just talk a little bit on how you plan on, what steps are you taking, what are you doing to remove some of these things?
So I think in a little bit in opposition to that is coping skills. I need the coping skills. And obviously, I think that that's part of why I'm struggling through this process is I had coping skills for being in the relationship. I had coping skills for just my own depression, anxiety prior. But this is like, it comes with a whole new set of coping skills that I need to discover work for me. Because obviously before, if I was escalated, I could take a minute to go sit and read. But now I don't have a minute. It's just me and the kids, unless it's a weekend. I've never really had to deal with the jealousy because even though we didn't get along, I always knew he was coming home. So now I don't know how to handle those things, like those in-the-moment situations, short patience, finding the coping skills for that because, you know, I've always kind of had a short patience, but before the coping skills let Dad kind of step in for a minute, and now I don't have that opportunity with the children.
Because now there's so much pressure on you in the home.
Yeah, and so it's just making my patience shorter at work, with family and friends, so I think coping skills is a place to start.
Absolutely.
The first thing I want to get rid of with these things is probably the anger piece. If I get rid of anger, then I'll probably get rid of short patience and jealousy.
The domino effect of them all.
Yeah.
And how one emotion affects, as
all
you connected all of them together. It connects. And it just shows that you got to go through so many of them to get to the next phase, to get through those next things. But, you know, even though that we're holding on to this, like, self-care has so much to do, and self-love and self-worth with removing a lot of these negative things and these negative feelings.
That's why I'm hoping, especially with the anger, that if I can let that go, even a little bit, it'll help in other areas. Because I'm not an angry person. I just lately, you know, I feel... maybe anger is not the right word, but definitely a different form of upset. Usually upset for me is crying. Lately I'm like, I'm gonna go in my room and I'm gonna punch a pillow. And it's not like, you know, I'm lashing out or screaming, but it's anger nonetheless, I guess.
Anger in some form, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel like this is something that we could revisit maybe in a month or two after a few sessions?
I think this might be nice to revisit and see where I'm at. Yeah, especially because in a couple months I might be in a different place. Who knows? Not that I want to have found somebody by then, but I could have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe now the ex and I are in a better place, and now we're trying to figure out how to build a relationship again in the co-parenting sense, because obviously we're co-parenting, but I want it to be like, I don't want the kids to have 2 Christmases when we can have one Christmas dinner.
Of course.
So that might be nice, like doing this and that kind of sense of what do I need to let go of in order to have a healthy relationship with him.
I think that this is a great piece. Like, it's a documentation piece. It documents progress and where you're at, where your current state is at, how you're feeling, what you were able to move through. Because in 2 months from now, you could have so much less on that left hand.
And something different too, you know.
Completely different. It's just always acknowledging being self-aware, which is so important. Because if we're not self-aware of our own emotions and our own feelings and thoughts and how it affects other people, it affects ourselves.
That's true.
So, you know, revisiting this, I think, in, you know, maybe a month or two would be great.
I completely agree. I think, you know, revisiting it, seeing what's changed, and then maybe doing one of a different context.
Yeah.
And clean up my mess for you.
You are always so great with cleaning up any activity that we have.
Yeah, well, you won't do them with me anymore if I don't clean, I would assume. So,
well, Gabby, it was, as always, very wonderful to have you.
Thanks. It's wonderful coming as always.
Put it on your refrigerator.
Perfect. Can't wait.
All right, so we'll see. Actually, let's just put it up on our little bulletin board so they can see how beautiful of a job that you did.
Thanks. I'm glad you're so proud of me.
We are. All right, Gabby. Have a good one.